Hello trader, this is midweek update on XAUUSD, Euro dollar and British pound US dollar. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity we have in all of this instrument. As we can see that in the middle of the week after initial breakdown, the market started to trend again in all of this instrument. So let's begin first of all a bigger picture looking at on Euro dollar, starting with the monthly chart to see overall picture in the market, and then we'll be looking at British pound US dollar and XAU USD. So looking at euro dollar monthly, as expected, we can see that this market in the beginning of the month there was a gap open and the price managed to bounce from this level. And as this market had a bounce from this level, we could see that euro dollar potentially moving back up to the monthly resistance line. As this market is in a strong bullish trend, we could see that potentially breaking to the upside to create a new higher high. If we look at the weekly perspective on euro dollar, we can see that from the weekly, as expected after the previous weekly bullish engulfer, this week also the market opened with a little gap, and the market after that we have seen initial drop for a pullback, and the price now approaching a very significant liquidity zone. Above this level there is a high liquidity. As the market is approaching that level, highly likely we could see the market may retest this level and even potentially breaking back to the upside before dropping further. Or we might see that from the monthly perspective, if we see the price from the weekly perspective candle closing above, we could see that it's potentially continuing to the upside to create a new higher high. If we step down to the daily chart, we can see that there is a daily bullish trend. This is a strong impulse on the daily. 2 days of doji formation showing that very weaker response from the sellers, and as a result today we saw that once the market opened, the buyers has taken control and the price is still, we can see it's moving above that resistance line. So therefore we can expect from the daily as well euro dollar to remain bullish. Now from the 4 hour perspective, here we can see that there is a 4 hour bullish engulfer here. The market crossed this doji on both sides, and then the price managed to bounce back up, closed above with a strong bullish engulfer. Now from the time of this recording, we see there is a candle close coming in 10 minutes time. With this bullish engulfer, we could see that potential trend continuation and expecting for the market to break that resistance and potentially to trend to the upside to create a new higher high. Therefore lower time frame price action, once we see the price has given suitable confirmation, as you can see from the 1 hour perspective, it's a strong impulse. We'll be waiting for a lower time frame pullback before we look for potential entry opportunity in this market. Now let's look at British pound US dollar. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity we have. Looking at the monthly chart on GBP USD, we can see that from the monthly perspective, this is the monthly impulse on British pound US dollar. And with this monthly bullish engulfer, we can see the market here from this support level. There is a strong bounce from the monthly perspective on GBP USD, and as it is a bull market, we can expect for this market to potentially continue to rise to create a new higher high. And this is the monthly resistance line where we can expect GBPUSD could continue to rise to the resistance line. Now dropping down to the weekly perspective, here we can see that from the weekly time frame there is a weekly bullish engulfer here, and that weekly bullish engulfer is a strong bullish price action. And as a result, this week we can see that once the market opened from this support level, the price managed to bounce, expecting it for the price to go ahead and then to retest potentially. As the price moves from liquidity to liquidity, expecting GBPUSD potentially to move back up to the resistance, grab the liquidity, and potentially to continue to rise to the monthly resistance or dropping for deeper pullback. Stepping down to the daily chart, we can see that there is a strong daily impulse followed by 3 days of narrow pullback, followed by today we can see the market again has made another bounce towards the upside from the daily perspective here. And if we look at the 4 hour chart on GBPUSD, we can see that the market has crossed all this low here, as back to back two important doji has crossed on the 4-hour perspective, the market crossed that low, grabbed the liquidity, and formed a strong bullish engulfer here, expecting GBPUSD also to give us potential entry, as it is we have seen multiple liquidity grab from the support level. Once we see after initial pullback on the lower time frame, once the price has given a suitable price action confirmation, we can look for going long with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at XAUUSD. We can see that this instrument is expected, as expected, the market is doing almost in the same manner. Looking at the monthly chart on XAUUSD, we can see that from the monthly, the price initially dropped to that liquidity zone, and we can see that from that zone there has been significant bounce on XAUUSD. And if we look at the bigger picture, we can expect for this market to potentially to rise up to create a new higher high. If we look at the weekly perspective on XAUUSD, we can see that from the weekly time frame, this is the weekly price action creating series of higher low here, and previous weekly candle we saw there is a long wick here, followed by, once the market opened, we have seen that initial drop, and from this zone, as expected, creating an inside bar, maintaining a series of higher low. We have seen that there is a bounce to the upside. Again, the market is approaching that weekly opening and closing, and what I think that we might see now a potentially retest of this weekly resistance, or potentially breaking back above before dropping again towards the downside. Now looking at the daily chart here, we can see the market crossed the daily 20 EMA, and after today we see there is a exactly retest of this daily support, had a very strong bounce, and the price currently approaching that weekly liquidity zone here. So you could see potentially breaking that high, and this is a very highly imbalanced zone, and any pullback can give us today potential bullish opportunity on the lower time frame, as later today there is a news coming expecting significant movement in this market. Now looking at the 1-hour chart here, we can see that XAUUSD, after this strong rejection, every hour the market is forming series of higher low here, and with that series of higher low formation is the 1-hour price action expecting lower time frame pullback, and this is where we will be looking for potential bullish trading opportunity in this market. So as soon as we will find suitable entry on XAUUSD, we will be looking for going long with a high probability trade setup. Traders, if you enjoyed this education and analysis, make sure you give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Thank you, and I'll see you soon in my next analysis.